Hello, I am Tootight Lautrec, the drag laureate of the Sonnetarium, and welcome back to the Shakey Sonnet Show. We're here in the Sonnetarium at the bottom of the down staircase in the permanently sequestered remainders section of an unnamed local library which may have a stone lion or two on the front steps partying because we are home, and also we are 1/3 of the way through the sonnets. We're looking at Sonnet 52 today. We couldn't celebrate last week because 51 times 3 is only 153. 52 times 3 is 156. So there are 154 sonnets. We're 1/3 of the way through. And to celebrate, I've worn my carcanet, which is your cocktail vocabulary word of the week, and my party hat. And we're here to celebrate with Sonnet 52. Now, I know it's not necessary to think of these sonnets as a continuing narrative, but, and it's a big but, I choose to think of it as a continuing narrative. And if we were to read it as such, what normally happens to me 1/3 of the way through a novel, for instance, is happening to me again, which is that inevitably I fall in love with one of the characters. And the character with whom I've fallen in love is the narrator of these sonnets. I don't know what it is. I've crossed the line. Somehow I'm suddenly in love. And as frisky and feckless and faithless and fickle as this narrator might be, he or she, but I believe it's a he, I love him. I know he cheats. I know he can seem like a worthless bum, and he's said so himself in Sonnet 29, but honestly, you don't know him like I do. Or maybe you do. In any case, I'm caught and I'm convinced, and I'm a true believer in the love that I have for this narrator. And Sonnet 52 harkens back a little bit to Sonnet 48, which is another reason that I think that it's beneficial to read these as a continuing narrative, because we're beginning to see some groundwork laid in the earlier sonnets that sets us up for these later sonnets. So last week for 50 and 51, we saw that 44 and 45 were set the groundwork. And for Sonnet 52, if we look back to Sonnet 48 with its locked up treasures and the the jewels in the jewelry boxes, but there where there was a little bit of possessiveness, here I think there's a bit more sweetness, and yes, again, a suggestion of sexy time. But there's also real love. It's real. I feel it. It may not be the most sweet sounding sonnet, and it may not be the slickest or the smartest sonnet, but it seems sincere, Dr. Franken's sonnet. It really does seem sincere. It's sincere. There's sincerity as far as the eye can see. It's not just merely love. It's really quite sincerely love. And I am sticking to that. So I'll prove it. Let's look at Sonnet 52. Sonnet 52. So am I as the rich, whose blessed key can bring him to his sweet uplocked treasure, the which he will not every hour survey, for blunting the fine point of seldom pleasure. Therefore our feasts so solemn and so rare, since seldom coming in the long year set, like stones of worth they thinly placed are, or capped in jewels in the carcanet. So is the time that keeps you as my chest, or as the wardrobe which the robe doth hide, to make some special instant special blessed, by new unfolding his imprisoned pride. Blessed are you, whose worthiness gives scope, being had to triumph, being lacked to hope. Okay, well, let's unlock some of the treasures in Sonnet 52. Right off the bat, the key that unlocks the sweet uplocked treasure, does anyone need an innuendo-ometer here? because sweet uplocked treasure seems to be pretty clear. Either that, or apparently rich people get off on opening up their jewelry boxes just to look at the lovely treasures inside. I wouldn't know, but that's the story that I hear. So for those of you who do need an innuendoometer, sweet uplocked treasures equals genitalia, and fine point of seldom pleasure equals I'm home. So am I as the rich, whose blessed key can bring him to his sweet uplocked treasure, the which he will not every hour survey for blunting the fine point of seldom pleasure. He doesn't go and, whoever this rich person is, doesn't go and look in his jewelry box every hour on the hour to look at all the treasures stored up inside. Just every once in a while. He kind of gives him a chance to forget, and then he opens it up to, and woo, look at all that. Second quatrain. Therefore are feasts so seldom and so rare, since seldom coming in the long year set, like stones of worth they thinly placed are, or captain jewels in the carcanet. And in this line 6, since seldom coming in the long year set, in the quarto there are no commas, and various editors place commas in there, but I prefer it without the commas, and the Penguin version has the commas in there. But captain jewels, captain meaning the main jewels, and in the carcanet, which is a string of pearls, not string of pearls, but any kind of necklace with stones set in it, like such as I have today, my carcanet, which I have worn and which you can wear to your next cocktail party so that someone can compliment you on your carcanet and your use of the word carcanet. And because they are placed at a specific distance, the further apart they're placed, the greater they are offset, so that they're not ruined by just a big bunch of jewels all in one place, which when has that ever ruined anything? But if we're talking about coming home to see my love, I've been away from my love for a long time, and absence makes the heart grow fonder, is what's going on here. And the feasts of love that come seldomly, come in any way you'd like to think that, are nicely spaced absences and reunions. So that's the second quatrain. The third quatrain, and also if you look at the way the quatrain starts, so in the first quatrain, therefore in the second, and the logic of the third quatrain is so again, so that we're so am I as the rich in the first quatrain, and then likewise, so is the time, I'm rich, so is the time that keeps you as my chest, or as the wardrobe, which the robe doth hide. So we've got a little bit of disrobing going on here. A wardrobe, I didn't really understand the etymology of a wardrobe. It's not necessarily the thing that you can keep, a dresser that you necessarily keep in your bedroom, but the wardrobe was actually like a locked up cabinet because clothes were very expensive, or could be very expensive, and the ward, like ward in, it was something to keep your clothing safe and sound, and it would be locked up. So that's the etymology of wardrobe. But now we've got some disrobing. The robes come off, as the wardrobe which the robe dost hide, to make some special instant special blessed. Well, I'll give you a moment to think about what special instant is specially blessed here. Okay. By new unfolding, to make some special instant special blessed, by new unfolding his imprisoned pride. And I mean, if nothing says sexy time, unfolding your imprisoned pride, nothing says it quite like that. And it does remind me a bit of 300 years later when James Joyce in Ulysses has Leopold Bloom call his limp penis, which is in his trousers and he's walking along during the day, he calls it his curled conquistador. So, and also animals, when they are sometimes in the rutting stage, they are called to be in their pride. So it's a pretty explicit reference, and it's not just my dirty imagination going on here. So new unfolding his imprisoned pride. Blessed are you whose worthiness gives scope, being had to triumph, being lacked to hope. When I'm with you, I triumph, and when I'm not with you, I hope to be with you. And being had, of course, also has a sexual connotation, being had in bed. There are some editors who also say that being had could carry a tinge of being cheated, but I reject that. My lover is not cheating on me, in this sonnet at least. So aside from the sexual innuendo here, it really is a very sweet sonnet. It's a very sweet homecoming sonnet. And the sex here is not just simple animalistic lust, but I think it's sex of the lovemaking kind. And it's saying, I've been away now, I've been away for a long time, now we're together. Being apart only increased my love for you, and now that I'm with you, let's come together in every possible way. So, are there any indications that there's a male or a female either speaking or being spoken to? Well, it does appear that the narrator is a male, which is what I thought. The narrator is male. He compares himself to, so am I as the rich whose blessed key can bring him to his sweet uplocked treasure. So there's the, which he will not every hour survey. So there's the him and the he, and it's obviously a male. So now that we've got that out of the way, dramatically, I don't know. I think that in Wells and Edmondson, they say that this could be this could fit into The Merchant of Venice with Bassanio and Portia. I would have to reread that to be sure, but in terms of the narrative, which is what I'm most interested in, this is a poem about two lovers coming together again after being apart for 26 sonnets, which is half of the time that we've been in this sonnet series. And that, is a long time to be apart. Half of the sonnet series they've been apart. And I believe that Sonnet 52 is a happy homecoming, and they've been away from one another for a long time, and they get down to business, toot sweet, and the tutor the sweeter, and I am feeling it. So if I appear to be slightly defensive on this point, I will point out that not everyone agrees with me that this is a homecoming sonnet. This Catherine Duncan Jones and Don Patterson say that this is still a poem about absence, and I can see that point, but I really do believe that this is a poem about coming home, especially after Sonnet 51, where we get the sonnet where the lover is coming back. The Sonnet 50 is the going away from the lover, Sonnet 51 is the lover coming home, and Sonnet 52 is the homecoming, in my view. I'm sticking by that, and it's true love. It's true love. True, true love. I'm feeling it. Are you? Okay. I want you to think about it. Tell me if you agree with me or not. And just keep in mind that when it comes to love, oops, there goes my pen. When it comes to love, wonders never cease. Are you paying attention? Until we meet again, I am Tootight Lautrec.